Are steroids a legal drug? Steroids, also known as PEDs, are known as a substance that are used to improve performance in athletes. Steroid usage is a common issue that is developed in the sports world. It is most common in baseball. Steroid testing has been a common concern from people in the sports world on why it shouldn't be given to college baseball athletes. It is currently only mandated that players are subject to testing at the Division I level, and that's why steroid testing should be tested at all levels of college baseball because of these three things: keep integrity in the game, avoid financial loss for Major League Baseball teams, and keep athletes from harming themselves in the future. In sports, there are rules you must not break to keep the game sacred. One important rule in college baseball is the integrity. Athletes are supposed to abide by the strong moral principles, but many don't, and that's an issue. Chandler Rome, who works for the LSU Revile, spoke to LSU's baseball coach on the issue. There are steroids in college baseball, Maneri said. I'm pretty certain of it. LSU's coach believes that there's steroid usage currently and it's ruining the game. Cheating isn't something that's morally okay. To think you're gaining an advantage over others is morally unethical. In sports, it shouldn't be about whether you win or lose, it's how you played the game. April Ashby, who writes for Marquette University Law, says there's no place for steroids. She states, first, athletes who choose not to use steroids are at an unfair advantage. Most will be unable to compete at the same level as athletes who are using steroids. Second, the integrity of the game is compromised because it is no longer about which athlete has the best skills or talent, it's instead about which athlete has the best steroid cocktail or the money to buy the best steroids. There just isn't any reason to take steroids. You aren't cheating yourself, but you're cheating others. Steroid usage has become an issue even reaching the Major League Baseball level. As you know, there are college baseball levels that have risen at the Division I level, Division II level, Division III level, and junior college. Steroid use is being used more commonly at the junior college level. Reasons are because it is mandated to test the players at that level. Testing is almost non-existent. According to Chandler Rome, who works for the LSU Revile, he interviewed LSU's coach on junior college players. Maneri has seen the contrast firsthand, acknowledging that during his tenure at LSU, he and his staff have recruited junior college players that weren't the same once they arrived on campus. He essentially is talking about how these highly touted junior college players put up huge numbers, but then they come to a Division I level and aren't the same because they are unable to take steroids anymore. You ask how this affects Major League Baseball, and it all starts at the junior college level. Players at the junior college level can become eligible for the draft right away instead of going to a 4-year program. What happens is a player has a great season and he decides to sign with that big league team that signs them. It becomes a major issue because those players are subject to steroid testing right away, and that's when their usage has to stop. According to ESPN.com, many front offices of Major League ball clubs have lost money on draft picks due to junior college players' steroid use. This explains what commonly happens is that Major League teams lose money from signing that player because they aren't the same player from not using steroids. A lot of times, the players will test positive right away and will become immediately suspended. Steroid use at the junior college level is putting some major league teams at a financial loss because they have to pay that player a guaranteed signing bonus without even getting the results that they wanted. That is why today teams are hesitant to draft players from the junior college level because they know they aren't being tested. Testing needs to be mandated so these teams don't acquire money loss. Many college baseball players take steroids, let's face it, but little do they know the usage of steroids will have a negative long-term effect. Steroid use affects your body right away, being able to eat anything and exercise unlimited amounts. But it becomes highly addictive because to enable the same performance, injecting it isn't a one-time thing. It's a reoccurring multiple times a month consumption. But later on, as you take them, it has negative effects on your body. Health.gov explains the dangers of steroid use. When improperly used, steroids can cause serious health problems such as high blood pressure and heart disease, liver damage and cancers and stroke and blood clots. Other side effects of steroids include nausea, vomiting, increased risk of ligament and tendon injuries, headaches, aching joints, muscle cramps, diarrhea, sleep problems, and severe acne. Why would you want to take steroids when all these side effects could happen? And it's because college athletes just aren't aware of it. One of the worst things about taking steroids is the mood swings that arise around others. This instance had arisen in a specific baseball player named Rob Garibaldi, an aspiring college baseball player who had been taking steroids because he had been told he had every ingredient to one day play in the major leagues except for his size. He took them throughout his college career, and abruptly one day took his own life by shooting himself in the back of the head. His dad sat down doing an exclusive interview on ESPN on the issue of steroid use, saying the price, in Raymond Garibaldi's words, was mania, depression, short-term memory loss, uncontrollable rage, delusional and suicidal thinking, and paranoid psychosis. This is something horrific to hear about because of steroid use, and it should show athletes that they just shouldn't do it. They should put it in perspective that college baseball players should be tested for steroid use because you just don't know how harmful it can be until it's too late. Although steroid testing should be mandated at all levels of college baseball, there are others that believe it shouldn't be mandated. The NCAA uses over $5 million that go to drug tests, but it seems as different levels of college baseball don't receive that money. The argument is simply stated from Fox Sports, saying Division II and III schools simply do not have the money to require drug tests routinely. To refute this argument, it said it's a huge disservice to athletes and there needs to be more funding for drug testing. Without these tests, it gives players the free will to take steroids knowing there won't be any consequences at all. Another argument is that players should be tested only for street drugs because the tests are cheaper. According to Fox Sports, schools are much more focused on street drugs like cocaine and marijuana. Depending on how many tests a school orders, each steroid test can cost $100 to $200, while a simple test for street drugs might cost as little as $25. In reality, college baseball pertains a bit different because the only drug many players are taking is for their performance on the field. No matter the cost, steroid testing needs to be mandated at all levels of college baseball because by simply not spending that extra $100, a player is getting addicted to steroids. As discussed earlier, otherwise known as PEDs, is a current issue in college baseball. It has been a huge topic for discussion as to whether steroid testing should occur at all levels of college baseball. Currently, the Division I level is the only level that mandates steroid testing to be done. Steroid testing should be tested at all levels. As I discussed earlier, steroid use is affecting the integrity of the game. It's also harming Major League Baseball teams financially, and it's also affecting people in their future. And one more thing, if you ever find yourself thinking about taking steroids, just know that it affects everyone around you.